FluTac, we talk about one of my favorite semi-automatic 9mm pistols, the Beretta M9, and why I believe it, for me, is one of the best SHTF pistols that you can have to keep you in the fight and keep you alive. I explain why here in another exciting episode of FluTac Armed Citizen Fire Training Solutions, which starts right now. Guys, once again, thank you so much. I am your host, the Faceless Gunslinger, and welcome to another episode of FluTac Armed Citizen Firearm Training Solutions, your YouTube channel for talking about firearms, basic understanding, prepping, and all that great stuff that comes to the safe handling in operation and the fun that comes with firearms. So this episode, I'm going to talk about a pistol that has somewhat been controversial. I won't talk about too much about my background. I was in the United States military. I've been deployed overseas. I'm actually wish you one of these, but this pistol's got a lot of hate for some reason. I really don't know why. Well, I have an idea, but this is the Beretta M9 commercial. But before we get started and talk about meat and potatoes, let's make sure we have a clear weapon, which firearm safety is always very important here. Make sure you point in a safe direction. Make sure the finger's off the trigger. I'm going to pull it back on the slide. I'm also going to make sure that it's locked back. And we're going to go in. The breech is clear, and the chamber is clear, as you guys can probably see. All right. And we have no mags as well. We got ourselves a safe weapon. So we're going to talk a little bit at why I think this is a really, really good pistol for SHTF. So a little about the M9 Beretta. So I could be wrong, and I'm sure you guys in the comments section will definitely let me know. Beretta, I believe, is the world longest in business firearm manufacturer in the whole entire world, which is very, very impressive. I think they started making firearms either in the 16 or 1500s around there. I'm not too sure. I'm sure Ian McCollum will probably know, but they have been in the game for a while, to say the least. And the Beretta M9 particularly has gone through a lot of iterations over the past couple years. The military adopted, I believe, the M9 2FS, and now they're up to, I believe, the M9 E4, which, didn't make it to military service, but you can get those out too as well. It has a optics mounting system on here for red dots, which are becoming a wraith now. So, the United States military, a little history, the United States military was looking to replace the venerable and of course the beloved American classic, the Colt's 1911, that was in service in back-to-back World War champion. And I believe they were doing it because they want to become more standardized with NATO. So they were looking for a 9mm chambered weapon. I believe there was a SIG SAR had its 9mm version, and I think it was a 226. I could be wrong. And the M9 was put into as well. And the M9 won, and I believe was officially adopted as the M9 2FS, or the standard sidearm for the United States military across almost every single branch back in 1985. And this really turned into a really development at the time, because the 1911, I believe, had a 7-round magazine with 1 in the chamber, so 8 altogether. And this came to a 15-round magazine, which was almost double the amount at the time, and was really considered what turned into the Wonder Nines. I don't care what anybody says, this still is a very, very beautiful pistol, and it's been around a lot of movies, especially particularly in the 90s and in the 90s and 80s, like Lethal Weapon, played by Mel Brooks. The Riggs really came through it. Die Hard had a big show in there too as well, and you'll probably still see this because the curves and the shapes are just really, really unique about it. One thing I really like about the M9 too as well, besides its the history of being in the military, is really that it is, I will say that when you're talking about a pistol, this thing is kind of big. You know, most people now carrying, compacts or even subcompact pistols, which, perform just as well and things like that. This is pretty big. A standard Glock, I believe, has like a 17 has a 4.5 inch barrel. The Beretta is coming at 4.9, almost 5 inches in barrel length. So it is a lot of barrel to be carrying around. And it is a little bit heavier compared to most striker frame polymer pistols now because it has aluminum receiver. And I believe the top portion or the slide itself is made out of steel. And, when it comes down to it, a lot of people are going to go through that. And another thing, too, is that this is kind of old school people consider because it actually has a hammer versus being striker fire with, these kids nowadays have no idea what a hammered fire pistol is. But it's goodness. I'll just tell you that in my personal opinion. So let's talk about this particular pistol a little bit. So there are some modifications to it that I made to it, as you guys can probably see. Probably one of the most biggest one is going to be its slide. The reason I actually put the stainless steel slide on it was because I'm a big fan of Resident Evil. And in the original video game, they had something called a Stars Samurai Edge pistol, and it had a stainless steel barrel. I actually got the hand grips for it too as well. And I really just got this just to be a replica of that video game Biohazard Resident Evil pistol, but I actually fell in love with it too much that I actually wanted to actually use this practically because I could shoot really well with it. I love Beretta. I still love this pistol, but there's a couple shortcomings though that really, for me, really made me focus on just really keeping the stainless steel barrel. And it was because I noticed that the original barrel from this, the black barrel, it was actually, I ran with it outside, and I live in a particular place that has a lot of moisture, and I noticed it, even it being holstered, it started to get some some corrosion or rust on the top of the barrel after just like one run, and which was kind of discerning if I'm going to use it as a primary survival pistol for me. So I put the stainless steel barrel in it. I think it looks great, and it actually works. Another thing is Hogue, I believe they're pronounced. I put the grip on here. I actually like the grip. I think the original grip doesn't really have a problem, but I actually like the grip, the rubberized grip. It just, for me, it just gives me the opportunity to just have a really solid base and things like that. So it really does feel really, really good in my hands, and it's something I really, really do like when it comes down to it. This, like most Berettas, this one does have a safety located on a slide. And it does take some getting used to for some people. One thing I wish you could do, and there is a new model of the Beretta that actually does this, where you can actually put the safety on and still have it single action style, like a 1911, which is pretty cool. But this also acts as a decocker. And offer the safety where it disengages the trigger mechanism and it can't fire. Being in the military, I know we are really concerned about firearm safety, so I see why they actually, of course, will love that. But I think the Glock particularly really show that you can, walk around with a weapon that's not, has a manual, has a safety on, it'll still work pretty well, and you don't have to worry about shooting yourself with just proper firearm safety rules. So why did I chose this one particularly? Well, the reason why I think that this, for me, and I think the argument should be made why this is still a good pistol, is because, once again, in your situation, if you had to grab one pistol or something like that, your primary weapon may go down. You still want to have a weapon that you can pick up in your hand and you can be able to fight with. I still believe that Beretta probably makes, stock. This was one of the most accurate pistols I had right out of my box. And like I said, another thing that I really like too is that there's so many modifications here right now that are really, really good that you can make. I have a modified trigger. You can modify the hammer spring, modify spring. On here, you guys can probably see I put a adjustable sight on here too as well, that can adjust for windage and also elevation and things such that nature. So that gives me the operation as an operator to be able to really look. And I can reach out and touch targets with this, at 50 yards, which is maximum effective range, or probably at 100 with even more practice with it. That's pretty good for a semi-automatic 9mm pistol. And, you're getting some pretty good muzzle velocity out of the 4.9-inch barrel that Beretta has, compared to like a 3-inch or 3.5-inch or 4-inch barrel. So you got a little bit more oomph behind that too as well. And even though it is heavier, I do think, in my personal opinion, the extra weight of the aluminum receiver and also the steel slide, I really do think it gives you the opportunity to go out there and be able to have a lot more recoil management and recoil control when it comes down to it as well. Another thing too that I'm really excited about is that most Berettas, generally speaking, were shipped or equipped with 15 round high capacity magazines if you live in a free state. Which was pretty much standard, right? I mean, this is what it came with, a 15-round magazine. Now, this is what I'm talking about. I love the renaissance, I think, of firearms. We have like old technologies at 40, 50, 60 years old, new thumbs up, is that I believe it's called MacGuard. They are actually making 20-round high-capacity magazines for the M9 Beretta. And I won't put this in because this is live ammunition, just for safety's sake. But what is so cool about this, and I'm not getting sponsored. I mean, if you guys want to, MacGuard, I mean, hey, I'm open to offers. What's really cool about this is that it really gives you a really flush frame pistol, which doesn't really stick out too much. And you got 20 rounds in here of 9mm at your disposal. And that's pretty good. You know, I mean, like I said, I always try to think about, like, because I'm a big Resident Evil fan, I think about, you know, if I was fighting zombies or if I was fighting in a situation where, you know, I can only take a pistol that I can conceal or have, I would probably take this because the reason for me is that, you know, even though Glock is going to have a little more parts laying around, this gives me opportunity to be able to accurately reach out and touch somebody at 50 yards where I feel very comfortable with doing that, or more so. Especially with the MacGuard magazine here with 20 rounds at my disposal, I really feel like I'll have a lot more ammunition to be able to carry with and be able to take care of, and it's just a rugged system. The only other big issue that I will say that I really have with it, and I don't know why Beretta does this, and I really wish they would figure it out because I do love Berettas and they're just so sexy looking pistols, is that for some reason I noticed, even when I first got it years ago, like in the first week or two, I noticed that the paint chips off. You know, the finishing on these all their best, and the paint chips off. You know, being in the military and contact like people in the military, I mean, you'll see sometimes like the paint, because I mean, we're taught to clean our weapons, but you see the paint just completely come off, and it's just like bare aluminum that you can see on it. So the finishing on these aren't always the best and aren't as durable as I would like when it comes down to it. But you know, it's a very, very reliable pistol. Like I said, nowadays too, I mean, there's so many modifications to it. You guys can see here, I put a stainless steel recoil spring guide rod in here too as well. I mean, there's just so many good things about it. Now, one thing I was concerned about at the time, which I don't think was really, really important, but one thing that I was really, really concerned about was that, you know, I was reading when the Beretta was first introduced that they would have catastrophic failures where the slide would be cracking in half. Based on everything I read, I mean, that's something that was very, very early in its adoption in the United States military and has since been corrected. One thing that I would say that I heard a lot of problems with, and inside here it has something called a locking block that breaks after a while. Now, once again, you got to understand, being in the military, these are, a lot of these weapons were really abused, weren't properly serviced, plates far apart, and, you know, in Iraq, a lot of people complain about the Beretta having issues, and, you know, I think the research really showed it wasn't the pistol itself, but was just the magazines weren't really designed to be in a harsh environment, and they were, of course, like the government, Uncle Sam's going to go with lowest bidder, and they were using those particular magazines. I don't know where the manufacturer that was causing problems with feeding mechanisms, but as you guys will see here in the video in the next 30 seconds, it's actually a really, really tough pistol, very accurate, and I absolutely love this thing. So, you know, that's my argument why I think this is just a good pistol. It's solid. Now you got 20 round magazines, extremely accurate, reliable, and God, man, oh, she just looks so good. She's just so pretty. Wow, beautiful. So enough jaw jacking, guys. It's time for you to grab your eyes. It's time for you to grab your ears, because it's time to go loud. Welcome back, Gunslingers, and man, was that exciting. The M9 Beretta, what a great piece of American history. And even though she's Italian, that's okay. We love you. We love our Italian girls too. What a great pistol. Like I said, guys, I absolutely love it. And once again, I want to say thank you. Thank you for making this channel successful. I cannot do it without you. And if you do like the channel, what you're seeing, please go visit my Patreon. I won't be able to do this without your guys' support. And, you know, if you don't, that's perfectly okay. I know times are tough for all of us, but I really do appreciate every single cent that comes in to be able to help support this channel and help bring you great content on your YouTube channel. Like I said, there's going to be Glock fanboys. I am a Glock fanboy. You can look at my YouTube channel and see if you want to take a look right here. To take a look at one of my Glock reviews that I have. But, you know, if I'm not worried about still carrying, guys, I'm sorry. I mean, I really think this Beretta is just a classic design, and I really just think it just gets the job done. So, kudos to you, Beretta. Keep up the good work, and I wish you another 500 or 600 years of being in military or manufacturing of just quality firearms. So, just work on the finish with some of these things. So, but guys, with that being said, once again, just do me a favor. Make sure that you shoot straight. Make sure you shoot safe, and do not be a victim.